Hi everyone, my name is Masha Mustakim. I am the founder and CEO of Algorithm. A brief introduction about ourselves is we are a hyper-casual game studio. We have been working in the hyper-casual arena for about a couple of years. We have been able to publish around 4 games, and we are currently working with Lion Studios. All of the games we have published so far with Lion Studios, and so far we have been able to get around 145 million downloads on these games, and these games are continuing to do well. On our team we have around 24 people, and like with artists, product managers, game designers. And we are continuing our prototyping and our effort to get our next hit. I'm really excited to be in this conference. I really appreciate the organizers to organize this event where people like us can share the story, talk about the company, and connect with other studios. So I'm really excited to share our story, and let's talk about it. So I started my studies in mechanical engineering, and I was trying to be a nerd and be a very studious student, and eventually figured out that I actually don't like what I was studying. And then I was exploring different things, and gaming was part of my passion for a very long time. I got engaged with the gaming community in my university and became a very regular and active gamer. And I would name one of my ex-colleague Apratim Chakraborty. So like I met him in my dorm, and he was a very good programmer, and he basically came up to me and said, hey, you're also doing this programming, and I also like to do this coding thing, and is there any way we can collaborate and we can work together and explore in this game production stuff. So we started exploring different jobs in freelancing websites where clients would post about different works, and we were trying to get some tasks where we can learn, and we can also utilize our skills. So luckily we got a client to let us make a game on field hockey. It was a big project, to be honest, compared to the kind of skills we had. And to be honest, in the middle of that project, we figured out, game is not about just the technology. It's a lot more than that. And the game feel, the game mechanics, and the control, and the art, every single part of it is important to build the experience, and making that is difficult. So yeah, so around 2015, we were in the office. We were like 4 or 5 people team, and we were basically working, continuing to work with clients, and that's how we, continued to support our team through the money we made from the client work, and we were also exploring about our own products. After some brainstorming sessions, we decided that if we are to work on a game product, we are going to work on something that is close to our local context, and we decided that we will make a game based on Liberation War, and we named it Hero 71. Around December 2015, like December 4 or 5, it seemed that what we had made had generated a good interest among people, and around December 12, literally we were lucky to see that it's the news of this game is spreading organically, and so we after a lot of challenges, facing a lot of challenges. We were a small team with very minimal knowledge, and we like even before the launch of the game, there were critical game-breaking bugs. But like we worked day and night for for last 3 weeks since the launch, like before the launch, and when the launch on 2015 December 16 happened, like it was a massive hit in Bangladesh, and people loved us, people loved our product, and we got massive exposure by the local media. We got around 300,000 organic download within just first week, and we didn't spend anything on marketing, and it was a very big deal for us. We like like couple months back, we were literally nobody, and now we are one of the most celebrated individuals, and like one of the most famous game developers in the country. Eventually we were lucky to get the connection of an angel investor. His name is Fahim Saleh. He was our first angel investor. So we met him, and he saw our product, and he was very impressed by what we have done with our limited resources and the numbers we had generated, and he made instant decision to invest in our company. Somehow we ended up deciding that we will actually build a game which is similar to Clash of Clans. Clash of Clans was big back then, and we thought that we have this strong popular base, and if we actually can introduce a strong monetization approach, and we make something that has not been built in Bangladeshi context, it's going to be big. And one of the biggest mistake we made is we actually spent all our time to make a product that we thought is great. We actually didn't do market test. We actually didn't do any kind of early test to understand whether it's a product that will be loved by all. We were kind of in the illusion and the delusion, I would say, that we were able to launch a viral product before, so it's going to be automatically viral because of our previous popularity. So yeah, I mean, by the end of March 2018, we had got like around 300,000 downloads for that RPG strategy game. We call it Mukti Camp. But yeah, it was generating just around $1,000 in revenue, and we were spending like more than $15,000 a month for our team. So it was nowhere near the profitability. One of our investors suggested that we start focusing on the international market, and he suggested that as we do kind of a restart in our entrepreneurial journey, and thus the Alpha Burrito was formed. So at the initial stage of the Alpha Burrito, we were exploring casual games for international market. And initially, as we knew that the marketing is very difficult, one of our investors had a app called Prank Dial. It was pretty big in terms of monthly users. So we thought that we would be doing cross promotion and bringing users in our casual game and generate revenue, but it didn't actually do well. So we then thought that hyper casual was getting big. So what if we try in the hyper casual direction? So yeah, same thing. Was talking to different publishers. So publishers basically said that guys, if you're making games, we're happy to take them and happy to test them in the market, but you have to come up with the games. So yeah, I mean that wasn't a problem, but you can understand that back when we were like 4 or 5 people team, and we actually didn't have a large investor backing, it was very difficult to sustain. So we were actually looking for a solution where publisher gives some financial support, so we can actually at least supplement or like complement the our production cost. That would have helped significantly. So looking that kind of opportunity, but no publisher was actually back then, casual, hyper casual, they weren't much open to provide us any kind of funding. So yeah, I mean we were in a very difficult and confused situation, and then one of our investors actually suggested that, hey, I know Lion Studios, and why don't you test the games with them? And we did that, and similarly they said, hey guys, the games we have is not doing well, but yeah, I mean we suggest that you continue to make prototypes in certain direction, and let's continue to work like that. So yeah, I mean we also didn't get any kind of funding with initially with Lion Studios, but what was great, I would have to express here is the individual Chris Lefebvre, our contact point was back then. He was a great individual, and I personally had we generated great confidence that this individual is very driven, and he was very open to advising us in directions which other publishers weren't. So we started working with Lion, working with Chris, and he advised us, he gave us good directions, he motivated us to take decisions in development, and that really helped in the earlier months. And after some months collaboration, Chris came up with, hey guys, you're doing well, so we would be happy to help you with some funding. So the idea of I Feel Good came in a very interesting way. So around the mid 2019, we were like trying out different ideas, and earlier there was this very super hit game came out from Voodoo that was Roller Splat, and we actually tried different versions, and different mechanics inspired by that game, and none of the games actually did well, and most of the games actually wasn't even put into testing, and we were asking to our publisher that why these variations we're trying, you don't think it's going to work. And one of the interesting things back then, Chris said is, and I think that was really important, that the biggest learning we get from the success of Roller Splat is users want to be satisfied, they don't want to be challenged more. So we have to come up with ideas where people can be satisfied, but doesn't have to go through the stress of the game mechanics or learning the gameplay. So that was an interesting insight. And after a few days, Chris basically came up with this weird idea of peeling fruits. And at first we were like, hey, this game doesn't have any challenge or anything, and so what kind of game it is in the first place? So he said hey, I mean I think peeling fruits are satisfying, so if you guys want to try it, sure. So yeah, I mean after hearing that, we were talking to our teammates, and I talked to Arif, and yeah, I mean he was kind of dumbfounded as well, and he was like, hey, what kind of game is this? It's like you're just peeling fruits, no challenge or anything. And from a technical perspective, bringing in this satisfying peeling effect is going to be very, very daunting. After around 2 weeks, we were seeing some results and some satisfying peeling effects, and when we saw that, we were kind of feeling okay, it's not that bad, and maybe this game has some potential. After actually making a playable build where we could actually play, yeah, I mean still there was this mixed feeling, to be honest. But when I was personally playing it, and I was like, I played the initial 10 or 11 levels, it kind of felt very interesting, and it was feeling very sticky. I mean, like, I felt like peeling these things again and again, and yeah, I mean, I kind of felt that we are probably up to something. But yes, I mean, after probably 3 weeks, we actually sent out for testing this I Feel Good initial prototype, and it was doing actually very good. And after a week in market testing, Chris knocked us, and he let us know that this game is doing so well that our team should focus on this and start making more content for this as fast as we can, because the game in terms of marketability was doing so well. So it was a great experience, and after adding a few contents, polishing the game a bit, the retention was very high as well. So the retention and the marketability, it was in a very good spot. And I would quote Chris here in a meeting that if the game if the CPI was any cheaper, it would be just free install. So it was a great moment for us. We were ecstatic, and it seemed that finally, after years of struggle, we are into something that would be what we would call success. And yeah, I mean, so we, like, all of our team started working in this direction, and was making contents. And just around that time, to be honest, the idea of cake, icing on the cake, came in as well, and definitely in line of I Feel Good, like the satisfying experience of I Feel Good. Can we replicate that experience in a different context and make it as similar, similarly satisfying? So yeah, I mean, our Arif Bhai was into this again, and we were trying out different approaches to make the experience satisfying, and in much lesser time we were able to build this, and the prototype was out for testing. And that game was also in a short period of time, like I Feel Good and Icing on the Cake, both of the games were doing very well in terms of marketability. Icing on the Cake were doing much better in terms of retention and engagement and ad monetization. So it was a great moment for us. And one thing we noticed that the satisfying games, besides the satisfying games genre, there were coming up many small simulation type games, and we felt that there is this necessity, and there is this demand in the market for this simulation type of games. So we thought, why don't we focus in simulating real life stuff and try to find a success there. So we kind of started making games in all kind of simulating real thing in games, and from that inspiration we came up with this idea of Masha Mustakim. It was actually we found out the idea in there is this idea bank. When we were working with Lion Studio, they have had this idea bank, and when we were exploring this, we found out this interesting concept, and we knew about this reality show Masha, and so from that we gave it a try. But for some reason, initially, the game wasn't scaling and all, so we kind of paused that development. And then we tried different other simulation games, and came up with this idea of simulating pranks, and that initial 2 or 3 level prototypes of simulating prank did really well in the marketability test. The level completion funnel were also very good. So we started doubling down, making more content for that game. And after making the content, market testing, we saw good situation in terms of monetization and marketability. And after after 1 month of production, we were able to release the game. One thing that was really sad during the content production of Prankmaster is, as I've been saying, we were working for this company Alpha Potato, and we worked in different other approaches and ventures for a very long time. And all these ventures, we had this one common individual, Fahim Saleh, who were supporting us all these years, and he was faced with an unfortunate situation, and he died around July 14 in 2020, and it was a very devastating situation for us. But despite that, for our company and to make him proud, we kept on working and made this Prankmaster a success. So when we were deep into the content production of Prankmaster, we actually got news from Lion Studios that our Pawn Shop Master was actually now testing well in the market, and we were faced with a mixed feeling at that point. We actually were overwhelmed by the Prankmaster production, and now we have this another game which were also doing really well. So we actually split our team and started the production of Pawn Shop Master. The CPI was really well, and also one of the very interesting thing we were hearing from Lion Studios that the engagement of this game was really good, and the monetization thus also was very good. So that was a very interesting news for us, and we improved the contents, we iterated to improve the numbers and metrics more, and eventually after 2 to 3 weeks of work, we saw that the game is really profitable and the marketability is also pretty good. And due to the profitability, the game was able to be ready to publish in the market really fast. And so after we were also the situation was interestingly similar to 2019. We were faced with a situation where we have to publish multiple games, and so Prankmaster was also in production, Pawn Shop was also in production, and it was a very difficult and significant pressure on our side, but we were able to tackle it, and we made all the content necessary for both of the games in a very short amount of time, and released Prankmaster on around the August, and released Pawn Shop Master around September. So, and both of the games were scaling very well in the market, and that's how we published 2 more games in hyper casual market and became one of the top charters. And so that's the story of publishing all the 4 games we have published so far. We are continuing our prototyping. We have scaled our team from 8 people to 16 people, now 24 people, and we have a really passionate and energetic group of people, and we hope to continue to contribute in this hyper casual market as long as we can. And We are passionate game developers, and we are really excited to be a part of this hyper casual gaming conference. And thank you very much to the organizers for inviting us, and we are really happy to share our story. Thank you very much.